Now, previously, looking at 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 8 through 10, we were talking about how things will come to an end, and what we know is only a portion of the truth. And what we say about God is always incomplete because we don't know it all. We can't. He's infinite. We are finite. But when the complete arrives, when Jesus comes back, the Garmo and key will be changed. Okay, let me stop that. Just hearing those guitars in my head. But when the complete arrives, our incompletes will be canceled, or as the ESV, the English Standard Version says, but when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. And Paul, moving on to verse 11 of 1 Corinthians 13, he kind of gives us more to complete that thought, pun intended. Verse 11, when I was an infant at my mother's breast, I gurgled and can choose to be immature. You can choose to act like a kid. And I see people do that. I was in a gym, and this gym was part of the subdivision that I lived in, and all the residents could come use it. And they didn't have a lot of equipment, so they had a rule. You can use it for, I think, 30 minutes, and then you have to get off and let other people use it. And they even set the timer on the equipment. You couldn't time it more than 30 minutes. So this one young lady was on this machine, and beep, 30 minutes are up. Well, she decided that she wanted another 30. And this guy came over and said, but lady, I've been standing here waiting for almost a half hour. You gotta let someone else have a turn. And she stomped her foot and she whined, this one. And the guy threw up his hands and shook his head and walked out of there. And she's like, oh, I get to work out more. I'm like, really? Really, miss? That's okay, yeah. I'll put you on the do not talk to list. I mean, that was immature. But there are people who can't leave their immaturity behind. But yet Paul says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I don't talk like a child now. Okay, let me stop that. I don't speak like a child now. In fact, I have a more eloquent vocabulary. What does that mean? I know what it means because I have become an adult. I have gone through grade 12 and then undergrad and some grad school. I continue to study. So when you are an adult, you are erudite, eloquent. You speak like a man or like a woman. If you are a woman, don't be a man that talks like a girl. That's, Paul Lynde could do that. That was his shtick. But anyway, moving on. I thought like a child when I was a child. I reasoned like a child when I was a child. My parents moved when I was about 9 years old into this house. And it was a lot nicer neighborhood. It was a lot nicer house than we had before. And there was the master bedroom, which was mom and dad's, obviously. There was the back bedroom, which was, nice, good-sized room for me. And then there's a middle room, and of course I was the only child. So I said, hey, Mom, Dad, I got a great idea. Let's put an indoor swimming pool in that middle room. And I just pictured myself climbing up the ladder and jumping in the water and swimming around, having a good time. Now my parents, they were like, what's wrong with this boy? And I was like, what's wrong with my parents? Why are they dissing me? Why are they blowing off my idea? A swimming pool would be great. Mom can learn to swim. Dad, he can swim. We can all swim. I can invite my friends over. Indoor swimming pool. I've heard of indoor swimming pools. Why can't we have one? Well, as a child, I didn't realize that, first of all, water is heavy. And to put that much water to fill an indoor pool on the second floor of a building is inviting disaster, especially if the structure wasn't built to hold that amount of weight. I remember a friend of mine. We were renting apartments at the time. I wasn't a homeowner at that time, and he wanted a waterbed. And at one point, waterbeds were like cool for some reason. And I was in a hotel once that had waterbed in a room, and it was weird. And then it was even more weird when the heater died, and I was laying on cold water, and I was in pain because my body was reacting to laying on cold water all night. My buddy wanted to get one in his place, and he realized, because he got caught trying to drag this thing up there, that you need to have insurance, waterbed insurance, because if that thing bursts and all that water spills, you're gonna have damage covered. So he had to, I don't know if he went through with it or not, but he couldn't just hook up a hose and fill up that bed and lay on it. He had to get insurance. When you become an adult, you should think more clearly. There's a scientific fact that children and even teens don't have fully the capacity to think ahead. That mental power isn't fully developed in their brain. So when a child decides, hey, I think I'll ride my bicycle off the roof of the house and see what happens, that child can't think about the broken leg, the cast, the money to pay for hospital visits. That child just thinks, hey, this is a cool idea. That's why God gives children parents. And even us, when we fail to do what we are equipped to do, love covers us. Love gives us wisdom. We have the mind of Christ, another scripture for you to look up. And those things are given to us out of the love of God.